the video I just made deleted. So I came up with an idea instead of coming up as jumping straight into the topics. Let me just clear out the story first. So right, so I used to be a cannabis smoker. We used to use cannabis on a daily basis, and it was quite fun and frightening because during those moments of when it runs out, the next fix, you're like, during the run to go fetch the next fit, you're like, what would happen if I couldn't leave this thing alone? And it became really scary, and we decided that I should leave. So that's how it ended. We decided to leave. But what was the reason that caused the idea behind me leaving it? Well, the reason was that I initially, I think I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd, so yeah. So I went from nerd to a nerd stuck in an endless loop of self-deteriorating acts, which was smoking cannabis. So it happened in high school, and yeah, in high school I was like pretty good. I wouldn't judge myself average, so I would say I was pretty good with very much potential. So and other than that, we move on. Well, I haven't moved on, but like yeah, I have to move on. We have to love what I can do now, or find the passion that I can do now, which is what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm moving a lot. So I don't know. In class, there is less when you're doing a speech, you shouldn't move a lot. But I don't know. I feel like movement is an essential factor to express what you're trying to deliver. So yeah, either way, I was a nerd stuck in that loop. So I smoked cannabis. How did it start? Well, it started a long time ago before I got into high school. I was still in primary school, which was probably around grade 6, 7 there. So this guy called me over with this other friend of mine. He said, smoke here. I'll never forget that joint. It was like in a see-through plastic. I was smoking a joint through a plastic. So smoked that. The first puff, I started laughing. I was like, damn, but I couldn't feel anything right. So I guess from that day on, I was always curious about how I should have felt. So it led to me advancing it in high school where I asked a friend or somebody to deliver me a package which was the good stuff, the weed. So after I got that good stuff, smoked, got into class and I was so hyped, bro. I was seeing foxes and whatever, bro. My friend was calling me on the side. I couldn't hear what she was saying, and I was just stuck on this loop of like trying to understand what I'm seeing in front of me. You feel me? Then it just gradually increased from there. I started smoking. Then eventually I was like, no, let me quit for some time. I didn't have that initiative to say let me quit forever. So I quit for some time. Then after I quit for some time, I came back. It was a thing of I visited 3 times a week, you feel me? So it became that I visited it 3 times a week. Then when I got as pressure progressed in high school, so I started using it a lot more frequently than I was supposed to. So I started using it, and then yeah, it got to a point where I was starting to dissociate myself from people because of the things I would think about, and not necessarily saying that, you know, what am I necessarily saying, trying to say? Well, let me just be clear. I was just thinking of people in the wrong way, especially women. I don't know, bro. Like, whenever I was high, the way women would sound to me would be so Chinese. So they're speaking womanese. So I learned about womanese and all that and how women speak. So yeah, it was kind of quite frightening experience because I thought I would never understand what they're saying because whatever they were saying, it was just like it just left me in a moment of like what's going on. So yeah, from that, I disassociated myself with people, started sitting alone, I just watch life move before me, and I would comfortably smoke weed, and that would be it. I'd be chilling because I was essentially balancing weed and and education. So, however I did that, it led to me being the type of learner that had potential and didn't fulfill his role. So, with that, I became very good at certain subjects. You feel me, like consumer, computer science, but nevertheless, I did not have the thing to say I'm doing this on my own without any boost of substance, which at the time I thought was the case. So after that, I kind of realized that it was a way of having fun. It was status quo of having fun during high school. So yeah, I took that fun to the next level because I was doing well in my education. I was doing well every term. I was passing, and I always questioned myself. I was like, oh, if I did this without smoking weed, I could have been the potential. And don't get me wrong, but I have no regrets. So I just want to clear that out before it gets further into the deeper parts of the story. So I had no regrets. So I smoked my weed, did well in school, had friends there and there, nah, negative friends. So it was just bad influence after bad influence, cigarettes after cigarette, joints after joints. Those joints was just rotating. We smoked. There was this time I got so high, bro. I was like in some 2D dimensional world. That was the worst high experience, but it stopped me. Nope, I still continued and went on and smoked. So yeah, it was just an endless loop. So yeah, that's the sad situation of today. Um, and even today, I had this craving for weed. I was like, damn, and I was like in a moment, like forgetting why I left weed. Then while I was out on the smoke, I sat down. I was like, yeah, if I buy this weed, I'm gonna enjoy it. And I was like, after smoking a few puffs, I was like, if I smoke the weed, am I not just giving up everything I built, the trust, the respect, and everything? And then it came to me, this thought that came to me was like, think about what you're trying to build right now. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of makes sense because of what I'm building right now, which is this. So yeah, the portfolio is still mixed up. So I just wanted to clear up the story. So yeah, either way, it was a good smoke because at the end of the smoke, I ended up clearing my mind. I was like, you know what? Let me not smoke, you for me. Let me just focus on doing this. Let me just focus on building the new version of me, you for me. So yeah, I did that, and yeah, it turned out well. So now that I conquered that temptation, it gave me strength to say I can conquer the next temptation. You feel me? So yeah, one win, one small win equals big results. So that's what I usually use as the daily means of life. So I don't know if that fits on the philosophy. Winning one small thing equals winning a bigger thing. So yeah. Okay, so we get back to the weed story. So yeah, I was a good learner in school, smoking weed, nerd smoking weed, goal oriented smoking weed. And then I came to a point whereby I was doing my final writing in 11th grade. So those are the finals to go to the final grade. So yeah, during that whole semester, I was like, you know what, let me smoke my weed because yeah, I want to enjoy this last session, this last ride. And then I smoked through the exams and I was doing very well. And I even wrote an exam while high. So that was like crazy. And I did substantially well. So yeah, as I mentioned, I'm a nerd. I was a nerd stuck in a loophole of smoking weed. So yeah, it's kind of scary how things can turn out if you just meet the wrong people. So yeah, do I blame myself? Yes, because during the 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 that year there was this book I was reading and it said those tribal people don't fight a war of blame. So that was like my philosophy when it came to finding people to blame for my situations. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna blame these people because if it had to be a fight, if I had a tribe, people wouldn't fight on my side because it's basically a fight of blame. So and I felt good about it, I was like really confident in myself and yeah. Uh, come to the final day of the exam, I was high, rating business. I was high, smoked, wrote the exam, chilled, and the things I did inside the exam room still make me question what was going on, bro. I was like digging my ears. I was like literally embarrassing myself, bro. So yeah, that was kind of crazy. So I was just like doing some weird stuff. So it could cut and it could like weed cost you so much, bro. Like it costed me much. So yeah, either way, that's what happened. And yeah, a few months down the line, I'm done writing. I come to the next year, and it's the final year for me to finish high school. I'm ready. I'm excited. Everything is booming, but since I didn't leave weed and I have this confidence that I could do it with weed because weed is my friend, and weed turned out not to be my friend because at the last moment I had to write the last exam, and unfortunately I smoked one time and I didn't handle that 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 euphoria well, and I got in, I got an ego. I had an ego, a big ego. So I put on classes, didn't attend class. So I was just wearing classes in school, thinking I was this cool guy. You know what I mean? And went past this my old business teacher's door, and I was like, let me just point a middle finger to my friend. Okay, that was my mom. So yeah, as I was saying, let me point a middle finger to my friend, and I was like, okay, I did that. So as I said, it could cost you a lot of things because he acts out of character. So did that, and then eventually the teacher caught up with me. I was like, come here, and I avoided it. But at the end of the day, I gave it up. I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna run away from this. Let me just accept. So yeah, I accepted that, and went to the office. They called my parents. They told them I'm not fine. Then they told them that I was high. So the next day we came to school, tried to enter. They didn't allow me to enter. So went in the office with my mom first. And I was like, okay, damn, it's really going down. So I thought it should just be like, a fire warning or something. So yeah, they took it to the next level. They're like, he was high, so he needs to take a break from school and recover himself. So yeah, could I say they dished me? I don't know. You tell me. So yeah, that's how it happened, and then I eventually got kicked out of school and spent the following year out of school. So yeah, that was it. But then the story gets crazier. So give me a moment. So yeah, that's what happened. The next year when I was out of school, that whole pressure of like me not completing my final year was like so crazy, bro. And it hit me a lot, bro, because I became so obsessed with weed. I even slept in hospital for like 7 days because of weed, because I was initially supposed to go to rehab, but I was under the influence of lean and codeine. So you can see how where it was going, bro. So I sped, went to the rehab. I was morphed. Then they took me to hospital. Then yeah, I met some crazy characters, and it was just getting worse and worse and worse. Because during that time in hospital, I came across heavy drugs, and that heavy drug almost got me, which was crystal meth. And yeah, I was even shocked of how I avoided that one. Cause yeah, it was kind of crazy, bro. So I avoided the heavy drugs, and yeah, I was even shocked of how I avoided that one. So yeah, and yeah, that was the moment I realized that my life flashed before my eyes before I could even see it happen. So yeah, man, mm, it's kind of crazy speaking about it now, because I get to realize like where I would be if I failed to resist the urge of smoking that crystal meth. I was like, damn, bro, it would have been such an unhealthy sight for me to be experiencing. Like reality wouldn't be reality right now. So yeah, I'm thankful to my mom for being the supportive and caring parts of why I changed and why I'm still changing, why I'm still focused on this self-development plan. And yeah, as I said, I'm growing with the channel, so I am curious to see what other stories I might come up with. So yeah, either way, yeah, man. And um, yeah, so it was a crystal meth incident, and yeah, I even smoked weed while I was at the hospital, and yeah. And then during that hospital, I had a burst of motivation to change my life, and I started working out in hospital. Did pull-ups, did push-ups, gymming with the some sort of thing that looked like a hanger for disabled people, which was kind of like a wow effect. And then I even also creative during the time. I even created a portrait, and in that portrait, it looked like a boat with people on it riding a wave. That's why it seemed to me. So it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever drawn. So yeah, so yeah, that's why I still feel like I have a hidden potential in myself that I am so like I'm trying to unlock. So yeah. So if you give me a moment, let me do one more thing. So yeah, I don't even remember where I stopped. So uh, let me just finish off the story of where I remember. So I've waited the crystal meth and yeah, mentioned my mom. Then uh, yeah, during those time, yeah, I was on the working out phase and drawing whatever. Drew something, worked out, met some weird people, but also found a business opportunity there. Cause I was like, no, let me search and see what I could find, what I could possibly gain from this experience of that I was in. And I came across Muhammad. So he was from Durban and his story was wild, bro. He said his brother forcefully put him in a car from Durban and drove him to the hospital and left him there. And I was like, bro, how does that even happen? How does your own brother kidnap you and send you to hospital? And we went to this interrogation room, that's what I want to call it. And they're asking us, okay, they're telling us about basic foundations of life and habits. And they're asking us, what do you do in the first thing when you wake up? And I was so delusional. I was like, you smoke. And then he asked again, what do you do the first thing when you wake up? I was like, you smoke. Eh? But I was just being real with myself, you feel me? And that other guy was just looking at me and laughing. So yeah, we ended there. He gave us some papers. He said we're supposed to come back the next week, but I didn't make it to that week because I left before then. So yeah, I even saw a guy, bro, who looked like he didn't want to die, bro. Like that guy is, oh, bruh. Like when I looked at his ass, bro, like his ass looked like it had a button, bro. That was so crazy, dog. It was crazy, and while we were having a meeting with the guys who were in the hospital, it's like, nah, someone fed him horse pills. They wanted him dead. I was like, damn, how do you feed someone horse pills? I was like, damn. So yeah, bro, it's just fun and scary at the same time because yeah, I met different people, the thieves, there were drug addicts, there was every type of person we could see. One of the most funniest things I remember while being there was this guy when they're asking him, I don't know, he was speaking to his daughter and something, and he was like, I have schizophrenia. I was like, no, not schizophrenia. I was like, I have epilepsy. I was like, hey, I wanted to laugh at that moment, but I was too serious, bro. And there was this other old man who looked like he also didn't want to die. He was laying in his bed with his eyes closed, and he says, someone help me. Help. Someone help me. That's what he said. But his eyes were closed, and he looked like, well, he was dead already, bro. Like, yeah, but his wife was with him on the side and was feeding him some strawberry milkshake. That's what I thought it was. So yeah, you can see it's a funny story, bro. So anyway, yeah, yeah, my time is running out, so I'll skip some of the parts. So yeah, yeah, interesting characters, bro. Interesting. I wish I could talk about them, but yeah. So yeah, and so yeah, I was working out in the hospital, and yeah, I gained some muscle. When I left, I was so thick, bro. I was so thick. So when I got home, all that pressure came back to me. That pressure of being kicked out of school, that realization that I'm coming from a mental institute, and it just hit me hard, bro. And I started smoking again, and this time it was like chronic smoking, you feel me? Like the type of smoking where it's hard to escape. So I smoked. Every time I smoked, it would catch me because I had a silly habit of like you see this cigarette, I'll take out the top part and put some weed in it. So I'll be smoking as much weed as that red flame. So yeah, I'll use it, and it turned into something funny, bro. Like it turned into a habit. But I am glad that I didn't put myself through a situation where I'm rolling for myself. So yeah, though I came back, started smoking, smoked for half of the year for 6 months straight. And during that smoking, I was like being quad stopping, coming back, being quad stopping, coming back. And this is why I mentioned earlier on those runs to go fetch a plug. So when I was running, I thought, yo, what if I can't quit? And that broke my heart, bro. I was so sad that day. So I smoked this one time, the last time, and I don't know what made me change, but I changed, bro. Like I really changed. And ever since then, I haven't smoked weed. So yeah, crazy story, right? Up and downs, and yeah, which is what brings us to this part. So why am I now? I'm back in school, still cigarette smoker, addicted to the energy drink. And what's the good part I'm doing about this? Well, for one, I'm already doing one good part. So yeah, it was just feeling good to express the story. Feels good to hear it from my own mouth again. You feel me? Because it's a funny story for me, bro. Like sometimes I forget the story because I'll be just days trying to think of what I'm thinking about. So yeah. So yeah, now that I'm getting myself back, although I can't get myself back 100%, I just have to acknowledge myself now because there are some challenges I'm facing in school. But nevertheless, I am constantly aware of what I'm doing. So yeah, that's one pro I have with me, awareness. So yeah, awareness and acceptance. You feel me? So yeah, you tell me about your story, bro. What do you have to tell me? I already told you my story, and I'm sure you laughed at some point. So yeah, about the guy with the button in his ass, the guy looked like he didn't want to die, the guy who called for help, the guy who was smoking crystal meth with the Bible. Yeah, man, it was just crazy. That was a crazy run, bro. And I did have fun. That I won't lie to you. I did have fun. So much fun. The most fun I've ever had in a single year was in a single 2 years of those years. Like when I think about it, I try to mitigate it as like the worst thing I ever did. But to be honest, I had fun. So I don't know. You could be the judge of that. I was just having fun. And yeah, now I'm in my 20s, and yeah, on my birthday I was like, yo, 21, can you do something for me? I was like, yeah, man, let's do it. And yeah, it took some time for it to realize. And then I realized that I'm a big nerd, and yeah, I've been falling in love with certain nerd stuff, which I won't mention because it's up to you for what you wanna do. You feel me? So I'm just doing. If you wanna figure out what I mean by that, you could just watch the previous videos that I posted. So yeah. I think that story is done for today, bro. Because there's nothing more to share. Because I wrapped it up. So yeah, see you on the next one.